when I look for something, I usually find it. Our minds can not only manifest by wanting something, but it can manifest by focusing on something, and definitely by believing in it. And so when I look for it, not only do I find it, but sometimes I also create it. In this journey of self-love, I've already mentioned that sometimes it's more self-like. And the reason we may not like ourselves is because we're so focused on things that are not likable in our personality, in our physical appearances, and in the experiences that we have. There's something called a negative bias. And basically what negative bias means is we just automatically focus more on the negative. Something like when we're reading an article and we find a mistake, then we zoom in on the mistake, whether it's a typo or a grammar or incorrect fact, and so much of the article was great, and then we'll say also the article is great, and then we'll say, but that one typo. I notice it a lot because sometimes when we send out flyers from the ashram to inform people of events, they might be a typo, or they might be, one digit less in the phone number because we were too hasty in finalizing everything and didn't proof it properly. And it's incredible how many people will make the effort to message us back to point out that error that was there. And it always makes me smile because I think, oh great, they read the flyer. They know that the event's coming up. But this tendency then filters through in how we see ourselves. And then we're zooming in on the flaws and on those things that we consider to be wrong, even if they're not wrong, but we consider them to be inadequate or insufficient or unpleasant or undesirable. And so we can be so focused on the negative that we don't even see the positive. Or worst, we're so focused on the negative that we don't enjoy the positive while it's there. Something like we're so stressed about getting back to work on Monday morning that we spend the whole weekend being stressed, and we don't take that opportunity to really have a break, to really enjoy the time with our family, or to go out and to do something that we would, benefit from and we wanted to do and would make us feel so much better. Or sometimes in a conversation with someone, we say something and then we judge ourselves for like, oh, why did I say that? That was a wrong thing to say. That was a horrible thing to say. And then we're so focused on that one mistake that we make and maybe criticizing ourselves about that mistake or regretting that mistake, that we could lose the rest of that conversation. And as that conversation went on, we might have been praised, or some useful information was sent, or some joke was cracked, and all of that got missed because we have this negativity biased. A lot of self-esteem issues involves this focusing on the negative. Now, I'm not saying we should not see it. What's important in terms of spirituality is seeing what's real, which means seeing what's there and seeing it for what it is. So firstly, whatever's there within us, there'll be lots of beautiful things. and there could potentially be a significant number of things that still need work on. But even on those things that still need work on, not all of them are horrendous. Maybe need a little bit of cleaning and tweaking and polishing. And then some others need a significant amount of work. And some of it we can see is debilitating or unattractive or causing pain in our lives. So when we see ourselves, to avoid a bias and see what's actually there, both the good and the bad, and then to recognize it for what it is. And to recognize also that it's my judgment of this is good and this is bad. Some of it might be universal judgments that everyone made. So if I'm a rash and act very impulsively out of emotions, then everyone might decide that yes, that's not the best quality trait to have. But it's still a judgment. And then with judgments, they can be increasing in intensity of how much I judge it. For example, if somebody gives a lot of attention to punctuality, and then if someone's punctual, then they judge it like quite significantly. That, oh, this person's punctual, great. They're the kind of person I like to be with. And if somebody is a bit late, then the person judged them so much more that. And then if I'm the type of person who's, yeah, of course punctuality is great, but I'm a little bit lax because, we are running around and there's so much good to do. And then you punctual and I think, nice. Or if you not punctual and I think, it happens. The intensity of that judgment is different depending on how much I value it and importance I give to it, or determine that it is a criteria by which you are worthy of judgment. So, firstly, they're seeing it for what it is, the full picture. Nothing's all bad, nothing's all good. There's always lots of dynamics involved in each and every single one of us. And secondly, to know that what I'm seeing as good and what I'm seeing as bad is not hard and fast. It's not truth. Some of it may be truth, and some of it may just be my perception and the intensity of my judgment and opinion and perspective. So, to help us to deal with this negative bias, we a few days ago, the day before, looked through our photos and went through memories and remembered more positive things. And then thought about, do we actually remember all the good things? Or do we remember too many not so pleasant things and forget the good things? That already helped us to get a sense of if we have a negative bias. Today, we're going to use gratitude as a way to a little bit compensate for this negative bias. Gratitude is appreciating the value of something. Absolutely everything has a value, and we can so easily not notice the value, we can so easily take the value for granted. And so today we're going to focus on gratitude and seeing value of things in the past. We don't have photographs here. We're going to be a little bit more introspective and understand experiences as a whole and personality traits and journey in life. And so as we're thinking about the past, to be grateful and to acknowledge different events in the past to have helped us get to where we are. And of course, we're grateful for all the beautiful things that have happened in the past that have enriched our lives. And certainly jot those down and make a note of it. And it's always more helpful with gratitude to write things down. Yes, we can just think and be grateful, and there is benefit to that, but the benefit of writing it down is just so much more. And so do take pen to paper, pencil to paper, and jot down things in the past that you have been grateful for. And there'll be some that come so easily. And then take a few moments to think about things in the past that at that point in time you were not grateful for. You found it challenging, upsetting. You wished you could push it away. You wished things were different. But now when you think back, potentially you can see benefits from it being the way it was. And so, grateful for that opportunity to push ourselves to be more resilient, determined, to be more efficient, to be more responsible, to be more determined. So look for things in the past that now in hindsight we can see with more clarity weren't as bad as what they were, as what we thought they were at that time. And to find the gratitude of the different steps in our journey, because every step we take is what brings us to this present moment. Now we focusing on the good, because remember, to not have a bias, we have to always see both. But we also going to focus on what we thought was negative to see what we can be grateful for in that. And we're slowly training the brain to understand that negative is not necessarily so negative. It's just my judgment of it could be a little bit skewed or rash or too narrow, potentially. Liking has a lot to do with how we judge. And so we're constantly judging everything around us. We're constantly judging ourselves. And since we're focusing here on this journey and this relationship with ourselves, to look back, to give us more insights, to see how much we're giving into a bias, and then how much there is this potential for us to be a bit more open, to be able to see it for what it is. And then potentially see it for what it is without judgment. Because then, and only then, are we seeing it for what it is. And the aim is to be able to look at ourselves without judgment, seeing what's there. And we're using gratitude as a way to keep us safe in that journey of looking backwards to things that could potentially trigger us to be overly critical. And so today, take time out to do this task. And remember, the more we're thinking about it, the more we're going to benefit from it, and the stronger we're going to become in the skill of seeing ourselves and the skill of liking ourselves and loving ourselves.